Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to the weekly movie show with the boys Connor
Hello.
and Benny.
Hello.
Back in the mix, baby. 2020, that's where it's at. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Listen, I'm so happy to come back on this show this week because we got so many awesome Star Wars stories. We've got a leaked Trevorrow script, Colin Trevorrow script, episode 9, before he got booted off the project. We're going to be talking about that. Super interesting stuff. Also got Taika Waititi on the horizon to direct a new Star Wars film. And a couple trailers, question of the week. It's going to be good. Nice to see you folks.
Yeah, we've
again.
Also got you back. It's your return episode.
Thank you.
I don't like it. I don't care for it at all.
No, you do. It's just a front.
I've thought about it. I've tested the waters.
Yeah.
Not a
It's
fan.
better without you. Way better without you, man. But before we get into the news, as we always like to do, let's catch up on what everyone's been watching. I've been away for a little bit, so I'm just going to rattle off a few that I saw. A few from last year that will make my top 10 of the year, which is great. Always nice on the plane if they've got good programming with some new releases. So that was pretty cool. Where do we start? Ad Astra. I didn't see that one last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think I enjoyed it a lot more than you guys.
Probably. Wouldn't be hard.
I really enjoyed Ad Astra.
Oh, good.
Was I terribly
You guys are like
down on the dumps for that one?
I don't think down on the dumps, but I think maybe the bar was sort of like, this could be fucking awesome.
We're right in the middle, I think.
Yeah,
And
I didn't hate it, but
that.
it certainly wasn't fantastic.
I thought it was great, and I love to sort of journey into the soul of this guy and him comparing himself against his father. And
Anytime that a movie can be described as a journey into the soul, it immediately makes me like it less.
Really?
It's
I think it's so
like
interesting.
it's
He's
just
moving so far away
from.
from Earth, but he's going more into his psyche. He's going more into examination of himself. I thought it was like, I'm surprised people didn't like it as much as I really enjoyed it.
No one really came out for it, eh?
No, nobody came out for it. Saw Free Solo, one that you recommended, Connor, which is a free climbing documentary. Super cool. Won the Oscar in 2018, I believe.
Yep.
Or maybe even last year.
No, 2018.
2018, okay. And you've also recommended me a few of the director, Jimmy.
So it's Jimmy Chin and
Jimmy
Chai
Chin.
Vasarhelyi. They're husband and wife, actually.
Cool. I'm keen. I'm keen to check out more from those guys because it was really well put together. And you didn't have to know jack about free climbing, and it was still super engaging and a really interesting piece.
Their two films that they've done together, which is Free Solo and Maru, are both technically climbing films. And if you're a climber or you're interested in that kind of activity, then you're going to get a lot out of it. But you don't actually need to know anything about climbing to enjoy the film, because the film is about the people and the journey, not the technical aspects of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was fantastic. Watched Marriage Story as well. Netflix's Marriage Story with Scarlett Johansson and our boy Kylo Ren. Incredible film. Absolutely incredible. This will definitely make my top 10 of the year. Spoilers. Just so human. Incredible performances.
I found a lot of married people have kind of avoided that one, so I like that you dived into it.
Dude, it's like...
It's just so raw.
I don't know. I just think it was very human, and their performances were amazing. So they were given a lot with the script there, and I felt like within the first few minutes I was on board with their journey. So that was really
interesting.
great. Have you seen that one?
No, I'm
Okay.
I'm going to try and watch it tonight or tomorrow because I want to get that in before we do our top 10 of last year, because I know there's a couple that I've missed out on.
Yeah.
That would probably have made it, but I just haven't had the time to go check them out. So that's at least one that I want to, or I can get on there.
Yep.
But what I was going to say is really interesting, because I was watching how they have I think it's the GQ roundtables or Vanity Fair roundtables, one of those, where they get all the actors. And this one had Adam Driver in it, and he was talking about, when you have that kind of emotion, you can't force it. You have to just kind of let the script and your actors kind of bring you to that place, and and everything that I've heard about that. It kind of like listening to him talk about it made me want to see this movie a lot more.
He's talking about The Rise of Skywalker, of course.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
Which I saw as well. Reviews up, Rise of Skywalker.
Of course.
I think we all pretty much enjoyed it. It's a bit like a bit of a Van Halen greatest hits, that one.
We're going to have to do a re-review of that, I think.
Yeah.
It's a nice little bit of clickbait.
Yes, especially after hearing a bit more about this Trevorrow script. So keen to check that out again. Watch The Nightingale, which was from Jennifer Kent, who did The Babadook, a film that got a lot of press around a particular scene that was very harrowing for the general audience at the Sydney Film Festival. And it's sad to me that was the focus, because that is a sliver of the film and there is so much more here. An incredible film. It's very sad it hasn't appeared in anyone's best of the year. Haven't seen anyone talk about it. It's super important film. Australian film, like talking about a lot of interesting, sensitive topics and in a very, very artistic and I just thought it was great. I thought it was great.
I wouldn't be so narcissistic as to point out that I talked about it extensively on the show about 6 months ago.
I would
never.
I was about to do that for you. But by all means, sound narcissistic. No, I was going to say I'm always a little bit disappointed when people condemn a movie for a scene or for like something that made them uncomfortable, because a lot of the time that's kind of the point. And I certainly do think that there is a line, like you can be grotesque without being, grotesque.
There's nothing grotesque in here, like in terms of like gore, but it's grotesque in terms of the human.
So that's kind of what I mean,
it's
right?
very confronting.
Very confronting.
But it's it always reminds me of people walking out of 12 Years a Slave. And they're like, well, that was just so terribly violent, or that was just so terrible. And I was like, it's a period piece about slavery.
Slavery was bad, but did they have to make it look that bad?
Yeah, it's like, it would be weird if it wasn't bad. Like, what did you want this to be?
Well, that's,
anyways.
Yeah, everyone lives in that veil.
Yeah. I want to think, but I don't want to think that much.
So that one, super, super important film, and I'm sad not many people are talking about it, especially Ben. Like, why did you not talk about it?
I'm sorry. I should have tried harder.
Hang your head in shame. Official Secrets, which is a sort of political thriller starring Keira Knightley, British film. Really well done, really well executed. That appeared in, what's his name? What's that YouTuber? One of the biggest YouTubers for movie reviews.
Fred?
Chris Stuckman. Chris Stuckman appeared in his top 10, so... I went to check it out, and it was a solid political thriller if you're into that thing. Watch an episode of The Witcher, really great. Haven't watched any more than that, but Witcher is actually a lot better than I was anticipating. I really enjoyed episode 1, and from what I've heard, it only continues to get better from there. Also watched Dracula, the new BBC Netflix one. Episode 1, it was decent. I thought they just kind of like stuck to this middle ground that wasn't necessarily like pushing the envelope in any way, one way. It was kind of playing the safe mode, but it was still really enjoyable. But I won't be going on to episode 2 and 3, I don't think. And I also watched Revenge of the Sith. Love that. Seriously, love Revenge of the Sith. I will go to the grave on that one. You're not a big fan of that one, and you kind of put it in the same ballpark as 1 and 2, whilst I think it's vastly superior.
So, all right. Revenge of the Sith. Is it better than any of the original?
No.
Okay. Is it better than any of the sequel trilogies?
Could potentially be.
Which one? Which one does it even come
potentially
close to?
be. I'd have to think about it, man.
I like it a lot more than Force Awakens, but that's just me. We don't need to get into that.
No. It's certainly better than 1 and 2, like by miles. But that's
I find it so watchable and rewatchable. Yeah. I enjoy that one a lot. So that was me for the trip, and a few of those are going to make my top 10 for sure. Did you guys watch anything this week?
Yeah, I'll jump on because I actually share one of yours. I watched in one sitting. What's that, about 5.5 hours, the Dracula miniseries
nice.
on Netflix. I think I enjoyed it a lot more than you, but I can see why people wouldn't, because it's kind of wacky as shit. Like, it's incredibly camp, very homoerotic in places. It really kind of tosses the original story out in a lot of very important ways that I won't spoil. And by the third and final episode, it just goes in some very strange directions that would turn a lot of people off, but I just kind of went with, because I'm really used to Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss. They're the showrunners for this. They did Jekyll ages ago, and Stephen Moffat ran Doctor Who for ages. So I went into it with that kind of mindset as a Doctor Who fan, of being very acceptable and accepting of just wildly wavering tone and quality. So yeah, I quite enjoyed that one. Like I said, did it in one sitting. I also just today watched the first 3 episodes of HBO's The Outsider, which is the new Stephen King adaptation, starring Ben Mendelsohn and what's his name from Arrested Development, who also directed some of it, which is cool.
Okay.
What's his name?
The Outsider?
You're asking me?
My brain's deteriorating.
Let's have a look. The
I can't remember
Outsider mini-series, 2019. Director?
Starring?
Where are we? Starring?
This is not worth it.
Starring Ben Mendelsohn, Bill Camp, Jeffrey Bobb, Julianne Nicholson.
This is odd. Did I watch the wrong show?
Richard Price?
No, Arrested Development, Game Night. Why am I blanking on his name?
Oh, the guy from Ozarks.
Yeah, Ozark. We'll call him Ozark. It's unusual. I swear this never normally happens.
What's his name?
It starts with J. Anyway, awesome show.
Great.
Starts off with Ben Mendelsohn. He's a cop. He finds the absolutely fucking mangled, murdered body of a young boy. And all evidence points to this actor having done it. But he has an airtight alibi. So it gets to the point where the explanation almost has to be supernatural. And it's quite gripping. I'm really interested 3 episodes in as to where this story is going to go.
Nice
Hopefully it's not
value.
one of those Stephen King shits the bed for the ending.
Jason Bateman.
All right, I got the J.
Oh.
I can't believe he's not on the cast list.
Yeah, he's not there.
That's very strange. Because he directed the first episode as well.
Sneaky bastard.
Cheeky. And then what did I also watch? Other than that, yes, I caught up on one that you guys are not going to have any interest in, but a lot of people out there do, which is Crisis on Infinite Earths, the CW crossover
I have seen
event.
that fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
Ezra, mate.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess we can spoil that. I was going to
It's not a
save it.
spoiler. It's everywhere. It's
Absolutely
everywhere.
a spoiler. I could not fucking believe it when Ezra Miller's The Flash showed up on the CW Universe TV show. And this is something I mentioned months ago that I kind of feel like got laughed off because it did seem ridiculous. But I thought that maybe they were going to use this Crisis event on the TV side of things to work some continuity stuff with the DCEU, and they kind of did it.
Yes.
They actually had Ezra Miller meet Grant Gustin's Flash, who ended up kind of giving Ezra Miller the name The Flash, because I sort of realized I don't think he actually has that in the movies at this point.
Righto.
So he's kind of like, oh, The Flash, I like that name. And it has no bearing on any of the plot of the show or anything. It's clearly just kind of chucked in there as an Easter egg sort of thing, but it was kind of shocking and fun.
And it works?
Yeah, and they also tied in like Titans, Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, Batman 1989, Superman Returns. Like Brandon Routh comes back as Superman from Superman Returns.
Okay.
Because he plays the Atom in Legends of Tomorrow.
Guy from Smallville.
Tom Welling showed up in a really nice little cameo as someone who used to watch Smallville for a couple seasons back in the day. Story-wise, it was fucking nonsense. It was just all thrown together with as many characters as they could possibly do. It's like the fucking nightmare TV budget version of Endgame, but I really enjoyed all of it because it was just so silly and comic booky and over the top, and something that the idea of doing it on a TV budget, a decade, 2 decades ago, is just mind-blowing.
If you have not watched the CW shows, can you still check this out and enjoy it?
So I've only watched like 4 seasons maybe of Arrow, 2 of Flash, 1 of Supergirl, and probably nothing else. And the plot, I feel like, makes so little sense that it doesn't matter at all.
Cool.
You can just watch it and be like, this is really weird.
Classic DC.
Also, Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman in the animated series, shows up as a live-action Batman in a really cool little scene that I think was very, very much trying to be the kind of elder version of Ben Affleck's Batman.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they take him to the logical conclusion of what that murderous Batman becomes.
Okay.
And it's a really cool little denouncement of that Batman. I really enjoyed that.
Does he have the same suit?
He's got the Kingdom Come exoskeleton.
Okay.
And Brandon Routh has the Kingdom Come Superman suit.
Cool.
Which looks awesome. Overall, yeah, if you're a DC fan and just want to see some wild shit, I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
Connor?
I've watched jack shit. Honestly, I'm trying to think if I've watched a single movie or even a single TV show, and I don't think I have.
Who directed Jack Shit?
Shitty Jack.
Shit.
We'll send you off for another 5 weeks.
No, in fact,
if you keep that up.
I've done less than nothing. I've in fact I canned my Disney Plus subscription.
There you go.
Oh, you suck.
Do I though? Really?
You're not keen for Clone Wars Season 7, mate?
Why are you paying for it still?
I'm
Give me
actually
one good
really
reason.
keen for Clone Wars. I'm really keen for the animation looks like it's souped up, and I don't know. I'm keen to just check it out and see what they do with it.
Yeah. For me, it's just there's nothing on that I can really see myself investing enough time or energy to be worth $8 a month. I'll probably resubscribe before the year's end if there's something that I really want to watch or a couple things that I really want to watch. But
everyone's just going to jump off board until Marvel shows up.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But until that time, and I mean, even if we do an episode by episode review, I'll get it when it comes out. But if not, and they release it week by week, I'll probably wait until the end and watch it all at once.
That's madness.
Crazy bastard.
Yeah,
Madness.
I just honestly, it doesn't. There's the two that I have now. I'm pretty happy with, like Prime and Netflix. I think are doing enough interesting things and enough interesting original content that it actually makes sense for me to invest the money. But at the moment,
Invest.
it is when you think about it. What's Amazon? $6 here in Australia. Netflix
Only $6.
Yeah, Netflix is 12, but you're getting close to $20 right there on its own, and then you add another $8 for Disney. You add 25 for Foxtel Go.
Madness.
Fuck that price point. You're easily spending almost $100 on content and using each one relatively little. So for me, it was just getting a bit insane. I was like, well,
I've only got Netflix and Disney Plus, and the bill's halved, so it's like $10 a month or $12 a month.
halved.
Yeah, because my wife and
Two
I
people,
split the bills.
Quick maths.
I guess, yeah.
I currently have access to Netflix, Stan, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and Foxtel Now or Go or whichever one it is.
Notice he says something very interesting. You have access to.
Yeah. It's like me and one other person kind of splitting duties, but I use all of them virtually not at all.
Yeah.
So I should have none of them. Because
Just peace of mind.
yeah, I was saying to you, George, the other day, I have all those, and I rented a movie for $8 of YouTube the other day because I know what I want to watch, and I don't know why I have any of these.
Yeah.
I agree.
That.
Anyway, on to the news.
On to the news. What a week it's been, baby.
Oh man, first one, big story. This one's been sweeping over the internet. I'm sure Disney's not too happy about it, but we've had Colin Trevorrow's 2016 script for episode 9 has leaked.
Duel of the Fates.
Duel of the Fates, cool title.
Great title.
Do you want to run us through some of that, Georgie?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the few noticeable things about this is that this was before. This was before that other bloke came in to do a rewrite. I'll look up his name in a moment. So
But
this was
essentially
just,
before Trevorrow was fired, obviously.
It was.
But
He wrote it after.
yeah,
I'm gonna win it back.
It was. This script was handed in, or it's dated 11 days before Carrie Fisher's passing. So
So she's very much a part of it.
She's very much a part of it, and you can really see what they were trying to do here.
Have you read the script?
It's unavailable to be read.
Oh, really?
It's all Cliff Notes at this point.
Yeah, it's Cliff Notes. But there's a few people have a copy, and they've been rattling off the details.
And it's vastly different. Like, they didn't use anything for...
A couple things,
it
but
sounds as though
very, very, very little. It's like, oh, that, and it's like it seems serendipitous almost. But the other really interesting thing about it is how massive of a component Princess Leia is in this, according to Robert Meyer Burnett, who leaked the script, and a few other people. And you can see the concept here was like 7 was Han Solo's movie, 8 was Luke's movie, and 9 is Princess Leia's movie. And obviously when Carrie Fisher passed, it kind of put a real spanner in the works for this particular piece.
Pretty big spanner in the works.
Pretty damn big spanner. So... if let's say this project was, Trevorrow wasn't fired, and a few other things went a different parallel universe, this would have still been a very, very different movie in the end, because you would have had to either recast Leia or totally manhandle her component of the film. And, people aren't taking into the account like how much scripts change in the whole process, particularly with Disney involved.
No, but it's very much been, I think, a resounding, this is better than what we got.
Definitely.
From the commentariat. And I think we're in the unique position of having quite liked the new film as it is. But
there's a lot of things in this though that I quite like. I would have liked to have seen, and that this was always my. Whenever I describe this movie, I always think that they never took any risks with this film, and it sounds as though there are some risks
way more
that they take with this.
Yeah, shockingly, which I did not expect from Trevorrow. It really feels like a sequel to The Last Jedi. Which,
in some ways, yes.
Which the one we got is not at all.
It definitely does. It definitely feels way more of a sequel to Last Jedi.
Broom Kid is back.
And,
I missed that part. But see, I don't think that's good.
At least it feels like a plan anyway.
Yeah.
There's a few really cool scenes in here that I wanted to just talk about. There's the opening scene sounds so cool. It's like the sort of James Bond man on a mission opening. Rose Tico is a major character in this script. She's like front and center, and they're trying to hijack a Star Destroyer.
Her and Finn.
Yeah, the Eclipse. And it's just really sounds so interesting, so cool. They managed to get onto the deck of the Star Destroyer, and then Rey uses her mind tricks to tell the crew, the First Order crew, we're going that way, let's get out of here. So it just sounds like really fresh and something that we have never seen before.
And Finn sees a stormtrooper without his helmet. He recognizes him from when he was a stormtrooper, which sets off this whole chain of events about him kind of thinking about where he came from and what he's doing in this war, killing all these people he used to fight with. And it just really highlights how I don't think any character pretty much in the actual film we got has an arc of any kind, especially not Finn, who in this version of this film has quite a strong one.
Really strong. I was really impressed with his stuff. A couple other things I really love was Kylo. Kylo Ren in this is the big bad. There's no there's another guy. There's Snoke comes back.
Supreme leader Kylo Ren.
Supreme leader Kylo Ren, and he's definitively the big bad in this. He has a really interesting arc where he becomes a lot more disfigured. He encounters an old Sith entity called Tor Valum, who he ends up having this crazy force vision where Kylo battles Darth Vader. It sounds really, really cool, man. And this would have been like a Rogue One Darth Vader. This wouldn't have been, Darth or whatever he says, in episode 4. This would have been...
I am the master.
Yeah, exactly. So that would have been totally cool.
And Tor Valum is described as like a 7,000-year-old Lovecraftian monster, which sounds fucking
Did you see
wicked.
the concept art for that?
See, that wasn't for Tor Valum. That was for the Oracle, which is in a different character, which is in JJ's script.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay,
and so then they've all updated.
One of the articles that I read that wasn't updated had said that was actually...
I saw that doing the rounds.
Oh, okay.
So that was incorrectly posted, yeah.
Yeah, because an art book just came out with a bunch of concept stuff for whichever movie they were going to make. That
none of this movie's in there.
Right.
None of it. Kylo also becomes so disfigured in this when he encounters the holocron, which became the Wayfinder in Rise of Skywalker, that he needs apparatus, like, and he becomes like a Vader, you know,
and not a Wayfinder in the script, a Sith holocron.
Holocron.
That's what he said.
Which is cool. Yeah.
So, you know, he does go to Mustafar like he did in Rise of Skywalker.
Apparently.
There is a connection to Palpatine, because Palpatine left that holocron for Vader to then seek out Tor Valum.
He comes, he has a little projection.
Hologram, yeah.
Yeah, hologram, exactly.
So
Luke is a Force ghost as well.
Haunting Kylo Ren, which I love.
And that really ties directly into Last Jedi, where Luke goes, "See you around, kid." Well, he didn't see him around at all.
No, not
he
one
saw
bit.
Rey. So, like, that was a total missed opportunity. Sounded really cool. And also, Rey has a really interesting arc in here. She becomes the Grey Jedi at the end. And she has this quote from the script: "Our masters are wrong. I will not deny my anger nor reject my love." And that's all about the Jedi and the principles they held and eroding those and moving on. And I think it's so beautiful. And I think it sounds a lot more satisfying from that component to what we got in The Rise of Skywalker, which, as I said, is like a Van Halen greatest hits. It's got all those things you love, but it's just lacking that depth and originality.
Very safe for the fans.
Very safe. So those are just a couple things that I was really impressed with. Coruscant makes an appearance, bringing back in with the prequels, which was so, like, Episode 7 was like, we want nothing to do with the prequels, and everyone's really come around to the prequels, and it was sort of like really felt like an Episode 9, like 9 movies, finishing 9 movies, a lot more political as well.
Obviously, Rey is not a Palpatine. Her parents are still nobody. You just
Turns
get the
out
added
that-
reveal that Kylo Ren killed her parents on Snoke's orders.
Which is a cool twist as well. And he tells her last name at the end, Rey Soldado. So, just like really, really cool, man. Really cool.
do you think that had Trevorrow stayed on with the project and that had been his first draft, considering that, you know, with the exception of that it would have had to have been manhandled around Leia's involvement, but the points that we just talked about, which had nothing to do with Leia anyways, that those were all still very much part of the film. Do you think that had Trevorrow stayed on, we would have gotten anything like what we just described?
I mean, we would have gotten, but would have been diluted. You know, it sounds in a lot of ways very fan fiction-y, this script to me.
Yeah.
Like it would have been wrestled with, but how much? That's the thing we'll never know. But I think what was so interesting about this is it's like a little snapshot in time. You know, it's like
At one point they were thinking about potentially doing this kind of stuff. And look, I really love the idea of delving into some of the Sith lore, and like I love the idea of like a Lovecraftian villain type character. How do you guys feel about one of the major changes, which is that Kylo Ren doesn't get any kind of redemption arc? Because if we're going to talk about arcs, and you said that none of the characters get arcs, I don't think that's entirely true. I think that both Rey and Kylo have quite interesting arcs, if I'm to be honest.
yeah, probably those two are the only ones that are arcs, but they are
A lot of which is due to the setup by Rian Johnson, but there is an arc nonetheless. So, yeah, would have you rather have seen Ren be the final big bad guy?
Yeah, I would have. I much prefer this version of Kylo, even though Kylo is my favorite character in this trilogy. And I like what they did with Rise of Skywalker. I just think where this was going, like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren didn't ever become that figure. Like he was obsessed with Darth Vader. He got trained by Snoke. He was into the dark, the dark side. And he's like a kind of pretty chill dude. Like he's not that menacing. I would have loved to have seen this character from like this boy character who kills his father in 7 become the supreme leader and fully own that. And I just think there's more meat on the bone there for me.
But that's not to say that. So again, I'm talking about the redemption arc. So you're just talking about making him more evil But is that how you wanted it to end? Like you want him to just, I don't know, Rey defeats him, kills him?
I don't mind that. I think the redemption arc wasn't a necessity for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't a necessity.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see them not go down that kind of exact path you're expecting. The way that each one of these movies is sort of a remake of the original trilogy counterpart.
I would have loved, like, it's more like a tragedy of this guy who comes from a really great, loving parents and whatnot, and he gets obsessed with something and he goes down and down and down and down and down this path that actually ends up ending him.
Yeah, you can imagine how emotional some of that stuff would have been, especially the interactions between Luke and him, because it would be great to see their relationship fleshed out more after The Last Jedi.
Yep. What do you think on that front?
I to be honest, I don't really know what to think. It's a really early draft, and I'm incredibly aware that it sounds, as you mentioned, kind of like fan fiction-y. And I think it's really easy for us to imagine how cool that could have been. But when you put those ideas onto the screen, I can't help but feel that it wouldn't play out the way that we think it would.
This isn't going to go how you think.
Yeah, right. I just that always makes me hesitant. And so, one of the things I would have liked to have seen them push the envelope a little bit more. So yeah, I'm really stuck. I don't know. Like it's
the only tidbit
strange.
I'll add to that is that I read all the leaks for Rise of Skywalker, and it was listed out very similarly. Then this happens, and it's all bullet points in Reddit, and I was like, this sounds dope. Like, he comes out of the well, and then or whatever the crevasse, and then he saves Rey and they kiss, and I was like, that sounds awesome. Like, I'm really keen for that.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's really easy when you
and I
lay it
liked
out
it in
on
the
like,
movie.
Here are the
and
bullet
I liked
points.
it in the movie.
Here are like the cool little timbits. It's really how it kind of comes together. I think that's what makes a film. So,
but I like that, and I think the end product delivered on my expectation.
Yeah.
And this, if I compare it to my experience reading Rise of Skywalker, I prefer. This is better.
So, for example,
this is better.
In this one, you're introducing a big bad character. Or like a bad character
in the Trevorrow script.
In the Trevorrow script, like the Toll whatever.
He's not a big bad. He crops up for a couple scenes and then he's gone.
See, again, maybe I'm just reading the wrong articles, but it seems as though that it's a pretty decent chunk.
It would be like he encounters him for a few scenes.
And it makes it sound as though
and
like
then Kylo ends up
evil
kills him.
Yoda.
Yeah, he is, but then Kylo ends up taking him out, and he's like, "I'm done. I'm done with you."
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, look, I don't know.
He definitely is an evil Yoda. He's more so an evil Yoda than like a Palpatine or a Snoke.
Look, at any rate,
and it just makes me think how much I loved Palpatine in 9 from a presentation aspect.
Yeah.
Like him attached to it with all those pipes coming out of him. That was so cool. But like in terms of a story, it's very, very weak.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of there and it's never
with
addressed.
no explanation.
They have a scene literally to explain why they can't do the Holdo maneuver, but there's nothing about Palpatine returning to the universe.
Like that Holdo maneuver thing.
So silly.
But yeah, it's just fascinating to me, and I can't wait till somebody makes a comic book or some scenes.
Or Disney goes fucking insane and they just make this script.
Would that ever happen?
Never.
The reception to this new movie has been so negative.
Every penny that I have ever scraped out of anywhere, that will never happen.
I completely agree. So wouldn't that just be insane if they actually did it? Can you imagine? Like if they just said, okay, you guys didn't like this thing.
No.
Let's just
I wouldn't
fucking
like that.
do it.
I would not like that.
I'm not saying you'd like it. I'm saying imagine it.
No. I'm saying like I wouldn't like it if Disney did that.
Yeah.
I'd be opposed to that.
You wouldn't be interested in seeing it?
I wouldn't like I'd definitely watch it, but I don't like the concept of that. I don't like Disney. Like, all right, you made a film, just it's done. You made the film. This is the story that you don't just get to retcon it like that.
But we're in a different era now where Sonic gets redesigned because of fan.
But that's
backlash.
before it was released.
James Gunn gets rehired for
completely different. Like
they're still going back on decisions though due to fan.
I mean, they've done it.
Audience decision-making processes on audience reactions.
There's a very definite line that those films haven't been released yet. I don't like the idea of once the film is out in the public, I don't necessarily like going. I certainly wouldn't like them just recreating the entire film.
I would love
I love it just for how batshit it is.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the fan base? Oh my god, it would be fucking beautiful.
I mean, and from an investment point of view, it wouldn't make sense for Disney.
I reckon people would go to see it, though.
It would never be as successsul as this one. You would get so much hate from the fans.
You've already got that.
I mean, yeah, but why double down then?
I don't know.
What's the advantage? What would be the advantage for Disney?
I'm not saying it's logical in any sense. I'm just saying it would be amazing.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It doesn't sit right with me.
I would love it. And the final thing is go check out, Star Wars fans listening, and go check out Mr. Sunday Movies channel, because a couple days before this, he released a video about these alternate timelines for A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And like one thing changes, and it's an alternate timeline. Like Princess Leia in Episode 4 is a Sith, and
yeah. So like the A New Hope one is Luke's proton torpedo didn't go off and didn't blow up the Death Star.
Yeah.
So that mission was a failure.
Yeah.
And just everything that spins out from that.
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Yeah. Really, really fun
insane.
stuff.
Do you know what I would really love? For Star Wars to take this entire Skywalker saga
and throw it into the sun.
Fuck it off already. This universe is super cool. I love Star Wars. I love the lore. I love the universe. I love the Jedi, the Sith. It's really cool. There are other stories to tell in this universe.
I think
they seriously need to step away.
I think you'll see that
from this one timeline or this one like set of events, and just take a breath. Do Knights of the Old Republic. Do hell, even do
Solo 2.
No, what's Sidious's
Solo, the animated
Darth
series.
Plagueis.
Do a Darth Plagueis. Do a in the future.
Darth Revan.
Yeah, do like a
future would be cool.
Rey has created this gray Jedis or whatever she becomes at the end.
Years in the future.
I don't care. I just think that they are trading too much on this existing property. They just need to that's the kind of risk I want to see them take now. I want them to go and create their they've still got so much source material, and they've got so much, for lack of a better word, goodwill among
Do you think so?
In terms,
feel like it.
if they made another Star Wars film,
Mandalorian maybe.
I mean, in terms of if they made a Star Wars film, they will have a fan base that will go and see it.
Oh, no doubt.
They could have Solo.
That's what I mean by goodwill, as in they will. They've got an IP with a fan base that will go and out and see it.
Solo, that lost a lot of money, so it's tough.
Anyway,
but fans were very specific. They didn't want that movie. Yeah. I think I've heard a lot from fans that they do want them to do Return of the
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic.
In a potentially more positive direction.
Sorry, let's go on.
Disney and Lucasfilm are reportedly courting Taika Waititi to direct a new Star Wars film.
To continue on my negative stream, it's never going to happen.
Did you guys like Episode 8 of The Mandalorian? Which you directed?
Loved it.
Yeah, the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the stronger episodes.
And the stormtroopers at the beginning, that was just so brilliant.
It's gold.
I love that. That's
I
one
love
of
how
my
they didn't
favorite
try and
scenes in Star
explain
Wars.
it. I didn't want them to be like,
this is the reason why.
All stormtroopers, because of the helmets are cross-eyed and that's why they can't shoot. I just love the idea that he
it's just so good. And it was done with love. It wasn't done with in a cynical this doesn't make sense. It's just this is a playfulness.
It was very Taika. I mean, one of his strongest recurring themes through all his films is the banality of evil. And yeah, it's like these stormtroopers, these kind of black and white symbol in the original trilogy. They're just guys in here.
Yeah.
Fucking guys doing their job.
Who was it? It was Sudeikis, Jason Sudeikis, and somebody else.
Another comedian,
yeah.
So
definitely, I don't think it's going to happen.
A lot of people are thinking they might be trying to get him to work with Feige, because of course they worked on Thor before and happening again. So they could be a good pair up, given that he's not a director. And I think after watching that episode, after watching Jojo Rabbit recently, I think Taika Waititi, he could definitely do a Star Wars movie pretty successfully, I think.
But do you think it will happen? Because I don't know. Like, I have serious doubts if that's ever going to happen.
What leads you to believe that?
I don't know. It just seems like one of those things that
it's me good.
It came out in a way that I just felt it like we've had so many people attached to Star Wars films, and it seems as though that's kind of their thing, is to someone's real hot right now. Let's just say like that they're going to do a Star Wars film.
Well, I saw a joke article from the future, which is Taika Waititi fired from Star Wars film for making a Taika Waititi Star Wars film.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like I've seen this before. And I don't want to kind of believe it because I know what's going to happen. It's going to be, if, a miracle happens and he does start production, it's going to get manhandled into the ground. We're going to have a solo, or, we're just going to get kind of teased about this and then it's just going to turn out that it never happens. Or I just think there's a million things that will happen before we get a Taika Waititi Star Wars film.
Yeah, I mean, a million things probably have to fall into place for him to do it. I just think that if he hadn't done Episode 8 in The Mandalorian, I'd probably be somewhere closer to where you are. But he's in the Star Wars universe.
And he's got a good working relationship with Disney.
So,
and Favreau.
I mean, isn't Thor Ragnarok the highest grossing Thor film?
Definitely.
So, yeah. I mean, he's bringing in monetary value and he's so well known as a director. I think if it does happen, I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised at all.
He clearly doesn't mind making blockbusters. Do you have anything specific you'd like to see him tackle in the Star Wars universe?
I want to see a pod racing, like origin of the pod racing.
Yeah. It's a Bulba film starring Gasgano.
Oh my god, Gasgano!
I was played as Gasgano. I would like to see, following on kind of from what I was saying before, maybe something starring stormtroopers, even like what he kind of did with that beginning scene.
Like a guy who's in with the Empire and he joins the Resistance. And
yeah, well, I mean, even if he just sort of made
Finn too.
Well, but yeah, or because that's what the plot of Jojo Rabbit sort of is. Like this really gun-ho Hitler Youth guy kind of going through his own personal journey and being like, oh, Hitler's shit. That could be really interesting in a Star Wars setting. Just remake that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It's like crop Boba Fett's face on Hitler's face. Boom. Movie.
Anyway, done with Star Wars?
Never.
Thank you.
I'm actually like so buoyant on Star Wars right now.
Wow.
I'm almost like, do we bring back Georgia Star Wars Corner?
I mean, honestly,
is it going to happen?
The talk of a lot of the script ideas have made me really interested. It's like when we always fall into those, or at least I always fall into those, holes of when you find like a little cool little piece of Star Wars lore and you're like, oh, I want to tug that little string, and then the next half an hour is you going through different articles or videos and like finding out about who trained who and how this came to be. And you're
so
just
Chewbacca was crushed by a moon.
Bring that back.
Did you want to see Chewbacca in an X-wing?
Fuck yeah.
Was it Trevorrow script?
That would have been awesome.
Alrighty, next up, moving on from Star Wars, maybe forever, hopefully. Hugo Weaving is not returning as Agent Smith for The Matrix 4. And Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is rumored to be playing young Morpheus. And also, just finally, Lambert Wilson is returning from the sequel films as the Merovingian.
His name's Lambert, mate.
Lambert. Yeah. So a few things to kind of dissect there. I think an important point to note here is that they did ask Hugo Weaving to return, and he couldn't for scheduling reasons. So they did clearly want him back.
Damn good movie. I don't want some bullshit excuse, Hugo.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't come back for Avengers Endgame, so it must be hard to kind of get that guy on the phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, clearly they wanted him back, and I think that kind of probably adds credence to the rumor that we'll be getting a young Morpheus in this film. I mean, obviously the title of this movie is going to be The Matrix Rebooted. How could it not be?
Oh, I get it.
So they probably are going to be really doing some wacky stuff with the universe and time and
alternate realities.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they're going to go back in time? Do you think? Because Keanu's in this, right?
Yeah, and Carrie Ann Moss.
I mean, they have to go back in time, or something has to be undone, and they must journey back to young Morpheus.
Keanu, it's about your kids.
Yeah.
Fish
out of water tale.
Yeah.
Keanu and Carrie heading around Zion.
Yeah. So the sequels, and especially the Animatrix, drop little hints to some such interesting lore in this franchise. Specifically, all the other versions of the Matrix that they tried and failed. Like the one that had, vampires and werewolves and how they kind of survived on into the current Matrix. And
Cool.
the Merovingian coming back really hints at them doing something down that line. I'm pretty open about the fact that I think it's probably my favorite trilogy ever made, and I'm keen to see whatever they have coming up.
Better than Pirates.
It's actually one of my other favorites, probably.
That's what I was saying.
I really like those first 3 minutes.
And Toy Story. And Toy Story.
Yeah, more than Toy Story.
Cool. I love that Animatrix thing, especially the two-parter. We've discussed it a couple of times on the pod before.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that as a movie.
Yes.
It's like the best Terminator movie that we never got. I get a little bit worried. Like I'm pretty like I love Abdul Mateen. He was fantastic in Watchmen.
He's amazing. His star is going to fucking explode.
Yeah, it's about to happen. I guess with the nostalgia factor, and like this is going to be The Force Awakens.
This has the potential to be a cash grab, to be like, when you get like a comedy 25 years later and you're like, it
could be a gen of, not a Genesis. What was the one that came? Dark Fate, Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah.
Where they do the Force Awakens thing. It's a pseudo reboot, reimagining with the old cast coming back, and there's a new swath of characters.
I think with Lana Wachowski at the helm, though, I would really assume that she's got much bigger plans for this. And
I hope so.
Like, say what you will about the Wachowskis and their output, they've never done anything as like a cash grab. Like, they make the movies they want to fucking make, and they go
Jupiter
weird
Ascending,
with them. Yeah,
case in point.
Yeah, fucking Speed Racer.
And that goes and that's wild. It's like totally wild and out there and crazy.
I really hope that carries on. Like, I hope that they have a vision that is well thought out.
It's
that
just
makes
Lana on
sense
this one.
to give. Sorry,
It's just Lana on this one.
oh, is it really?
They're not co-directing, yeah.
Oh, that's right. But I do hope that there is a vision, and I hope that that she's allowed to execute on that vision. I think that there's the potential for a really cool film here. I'm thinking Blade Runner, and Blade Runner 2024, whatever it's called.
2076,
whatever it is.
2049.
2049.
I think it was
I
19.
love how you
was
can
an-
never remember that.
I don't know. Fuck.
That's good.
Which felt like a sequel that made sense, at least to me. So yeah, I think that there's potential for that here.
I'm equally excited and nervous
Yeah.
because I don't love the trilogy, but I love that first movie. That's got to be one of the best movies of all time for me.
I would say, top 10 of all time
100%.
for me. Yeah.
100%.
There's a lot of people that don't like the second and third films.
Yeah, everyone.
I'm
They're
scared.
hated.
Which is why
them.
I'm so nervous, or not nervous. Sorry, I'm so kind of surprised to hear you say that that's your favorite trilogy.
Yeah, I've rewatched them a couple times in recent years, and they're very flawed, and I fucking love them. The word prequel is a dirty, filthy word because of Star Wars. The word sequel or sequels is a dirty word because of The Matrix.
Yeah.
That's pretty common sentiment, I think.
Yeah.
Does your rankings of them go 1, 2, 3?
Probably. My most recent viewing, I actually really enjoyed the third one a lot more than I had before.
I've only seen the third one once in my life, and I really didn't like it.
From memory, I go 1, 3, 2.
Really? Okay.
Two's
From
got some
memory, at least.
amazing stuff in
Yeah,
it, man.
1, 2, 3 for me. Three's a
God, it has been
massive drop.
ages since I've watched 2 and 3, though.
I recommend giving the trilogy a go. It's really interesting. Anyway, next up,
Got some Marvel shit.
let's talk some Marvel.
Let's
shit.
talk some Marvel.
We normally put this right at the front, but this isn't huge news. It's just we got some pictures of Wyatt Russell as Captain America in the upcoming Falcon and the Winter Soldier. for Disney Plus. It's not much. It's just a couple of pics of him. One in his kind of army veteran uniform, and one as Captain America with the shield and everything in a redesigned costume. I think he looks wicked.
So this is an interesting character because okay, so number one, Falcon took the shield at the end of Endgame, so everyone's assuming it's going to go down this path. But this character is a U.S. military officer of some sort that dons the mantle of Captain America. I can't quite remember the backstory, but it was very interesting.
Yeah, so his eventual hero name is U.S. Agent. What I think is going on here is that S.H.I.E.L.D. or the American government are putting this mantle on him of Captain America because they don't want Falcon, who has of course been a fugitive, to be taking over the role.
They want to control.
I have a feeling that he's going to turn out to be not necessarily a villain, but antagonistic towards the Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. He's a hero in the comics, but
is he? And it will is there even like a storyline where the general public thinks he's Captain America didn't go back in time, and he is just Captain America still?
I don't know if he's kind of. I don't think he's been like the Steve Rogers Captain America, but he's been Captain America in the comics.
Right.
But yeah, I really like Wyatt Russell. I recently watched Overlord, which I thought he was great in.
But did you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you messaged me about that.
It was a cool movie.
I don't know.
Huh?
It was good.
Yeah.
It had some cool stuff in there.
I think that's what he just said.
But it's not.
I don't know.
It's not a masterpiece.
It's good. Yeah, it was good.
Said.
Yeah, it was
sorry.
good. Yeah.
I did say 12 out of 10.
Masterpiece.
Yeah. Oh, this is a cool little film. I thought he was really good in it. I'm keen to see him kind of join in the Marvel universe.
I think I love these alternate characters, alternate history things. So bring it on.
Do you like the costume? I think it looks really good.
It's kind of DC CW looking to me.
You could just say low budget.
It's a set photo. That's what everything looks like. Yeah. Everything looks CW when it's just a set photo.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does, Benny.
All right. We've been given an extensive list of the cast for the Lord of the Rings Amazon Prime series, and they are all nobodies. I recognize
McKellen's back. Elijah Wood's back.
Yeah.
The other bloke.
This is. I find this interesting because
the only one I recognize is Benjen Stark from Game of Thrones, which I like that they're just like, let's get a Game of Thrones.
There's at least one more person.
How is that legal? How can you put a Lord of the Rings Game of Thrones cost? No.
The guy in The Mandalorian.
Pedro Pascal?
No. Yeah, a bunch of nobodies.
Giancarlo Esposito?
Pedro Pascal.
I've never seen his face.
From Bill Burr's episode.
Gina Carano.
No.
Bill Burr.
The alien brother.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still in the alien makeup?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't recognize him without it.
Yeah. They're doing some really weird crossovers.
Really easy cast for Star Wars.
You're going to have to remind me, do we have a confirmed plot line or...
Yeah, it's set in the Second Age or something.
It's like the Knights of the Old Republic or Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, but is there anything more than that?
No.
Because I can't remember reading anything. No. And look, I'm particularly excited about this because there is some weird and wacky shit that is in the periphery of the main story, like before The Hobbit and shit, that I think that they could have a lot of fun delving into. And I do like the idea of bringing in not well-known actors, because you can sometimes find that you bring something to the actors that are in a role. When you watch Matthew McConaughey, you're like, oh, cool, he's playing this person, but there's always that part of your brain that's like, all right. So I think I like it that they're bringing in people that aren't well-known.
Yeah, it's that blank canvas. I'm not that excited for this, but I think as more details come out, I might be. But the Corridor Crew just did 2 episodes on the VFX for Lord of the Rings, and it made me want to watch those movies so badly. It's definitely time for a rewatch for me.
Yeah, I'm going to put this right in the little box that I used for Witcher when that was coming along, which is I don't give a shit about this. And then I watched it and I loved it. So hopefully that happens with this.
It's a good box to sometimes open and be like, oh, I remember you. And then you watch it and you're like,
Ah.
I had no expectations of you, so this is that much better.
Yeah. What were you doing in the garbage box?
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Dust it off.
Did I put you? Oh no, my bad.
Garbage
you just said a
box. I
box.
think
You
they
didn't say
call those
garbage
bins,
box.
Ben.
Garbage cube.
You're garbage.
All right, just a couple of final notes. Bad Boys 4 is on the way, and so is National Treasure 3.
Okay, Bad Boys 4 that's fine. Whatever.
I haven't seen 1, 2, or 3.
National Treasure 3.
No, I think George might be a fan.
Dude.
All right. When National Treasure came out, I loved those movies.
A lot of people do. A lot of people seem very fond of them.
That's my Indiana Jones. Like, I don't like Indiana Jones. I love National Treasure.
I feel like
and
we certainly would have talked about this. You don't like Indiana Jones?
Listen, I don't
like Indiana
love
Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I don't like Indiana Jones.
I don't love Indiana Jones.
Okay.
He stole my golden idol.
I'm not going to
I had it on my shelf
take it
and he
against
took
you.
it.
But yeah, no, I totally get what you mean though. It's just like it's a fun film. I haven't watched it since it came out or since I was a kid, I suppose.
I chuck it on every few years, man.
Do you really?
Yeah, dude. That is
Oh, you like actually like it?
Number 2 sucks in my opinion. I'd actually be interested to give that a rewatch.
Can you imagine having a discerning opinion about National Treasure?
Book of Secrets.
Can we do a full
What
review?
a title.
Fuck it, why not?
Book of Secrets.
So, do you actually think there's like a really big difference in quality between 1 and 2?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Massive.
I'm
dude.
very. I
Honestly,
really.
Sean Bean is so good in number 1.
Can we rewatch it, please?
Yeah,
because I feel
so
like
down. I'm so down.
We have to.
yeah, yes.
Okay.
Dude, and the music is so sick.
Yeah.
Ah, dude. National Treasure, baby.
I love Nick Cage. I'll give it a go.
I feel like I came into this too strong now because I was clearly not on your level.
That's one of those ones that, like, when I was like 15 or something, like, I told nobody in high school because I knew, like, it was that kind of one's like, what the fuck, mate?
Yeah.
What's this fucking childish bullshit? And I just loved National Treasure 1.
Yeah, and then the reception online has been so positive. Just everyone coming out being like, "Yeah, I really like those movies when I was younger. I want to see another one."
They're so much fun, and they play with all that. It's like the as I said, modern Indiana Jones.
Do you know what I reckon it's going to be? It's going to be, actually, it's a very good, comparison because I think it's going to be Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, except worse. I think it's a bunch of people our age remembering how much they had fun with that movie when it first came out.
Perfect.
And it's going to come out and it's be like, oh, this is so not for us.
I hope they make it for. They make the fucking Logan of National Treasure movies.
Yeah, no, it's going to be Kingdom of the Crystal Skull with less budget.
And hopefully less aliens.
Hopefully more aliens.
No.
Also, I can't believe they fucked themselves with Bad Boys by calling the third one Bad Boys for Life. What are they going to call the fourth one?
Just do a 4 instead.
Bad Boys 3.
No, it'll be forever.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys forever. Good. All right, what time is it?
Trailer time. Oh, fuck you. Don't start ever. No. No.
You're the reason George left.
It was you all along.
Just saying. Oh yeah, that's me. I was like, speak.
What happens now?
First, we have Guns Akimbo, which I watched when the trailer came out because I saw a thumbnail of it and was immediately, utterly fascinated. I really like Daniel Radcliffe, and this gives me serious. Oh my god! It was in my head like 2 seconds ago. The adrenaline one, Crank. Yeah, it gives me some serious like Crank vibes.
Or like shoot 'em up.
Yeah. So, which to be honest, is a fun. It's ridiculous, but it is a fun time. So yeah, I am really looking forward to this. I think I don't know why. Like there's just like it seems to have hit that perfect spot for me.
It looks wild.
Looks cool. It's a wicked trailer.
Super unique.
Looks fucking dirty and horrible.
And I've seen 2 different trailers of it, and I already know they are going to overuse the joke of him trying to do things with guns on his hands, and I'm so on board. I'll just watch it all day. I don't give a shit.
The whole time I was watching this, I was like, I'm so glad Harry Potter didn't fuck Daniel Radcliffe up too much. Or at least I hope that appearance that it didn't is true.
Well, I mean, he's talked about how
stars notoriously just get
he talked about how it did fuck him up. Like he had drug and alcohol problems, I'm pretty sure.
For sure, but I feel like he's come out the other side and he's been able to maintain a career trajectory from his childhood.
And
like
so,
somebody
so
like
have,
Macaulay
so have
Culkin.
Emma Watson and
Sorry, Ron.
sorry, Rupert.
Oh yeah, he's
Ron,
really
God damn it.
really struggling, isn't he? With
He
all
did-
his
what did he-
millions of dollars.
What was that movie he did? I think it was during the Harry Potter saga, Thunderpants,
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
launching a spaceship with farts. Good stuff.
I feel
That
like
fucked him up, dude.
I feel like Rupert Grint has his own trajectory. Like I don't think that he
Just
measures
the unemployment
success
office.
on. You see him in things every once in a while, but
He's got a TV show going at the
and he
moment.
doesn't need
Does
to
he?
work.
I think so.
Like you say unemployment as though like, oh, poor Rupert Grint. He's richer than we'll ever be. He's doing
I hope he is. Floyd Mayweather has made a lot of money. Doesn't mean he's invested it well. Financial literacy. What would you guys say to a Thunderpants HBO series?
Wait,
Like,
what?
Super sophisticated. Like this is his return.
I'm not going to acknowledge that.
yeah.
Guns
glad that you said
Akimbo.
it.
Thunderpants returns.
Yeah.
Have you seen Swiss Army Man, Connor?
No, it's one of the ones that remains on my list of things to
Oh, if
watch.
you like Daniel Radcliffe, please watch that tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, please, dude.
Because it's Daniel Radcliffe and
Paul
the dude
Dano.
from Looper. Yeah.
So fucking good.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah. That's the film that I kind of reference in this whole I'm glad Daniel Radcliffe is pumping out cool movies.
Doing really interesting projects that are not just him being like a kind of leading man like he was in the Harry Potter
I mean,
series.
apart from the fact that they look very similar, I also find him and Elijah Wood to be two actors that I'm really glad have found some level of success and like have continued to be in projects, but interesting projects.
Yeah.
So they haven't, faded into obscurity, but they also haven't, just done leading big blockbuster films. They've kind of hit that little middle ground where they obviously have enough money that they can just pick and choose.
They're
small,
not just
interesting
trading
projects.
on their name.
Yeah. Maybe maybe I've just completely misread it and they were like desperate for work. But
It's happened before.
yeah,
You're up.
it's me, isn't it? I am nailing this. Thank you. Bloodshot, which is the second trailer that we've had. It's a Vin Diesel film. It's I just keep getting
That's pretty
flashbacks.
much it, isn't it?
Yeah, I
It's
just
a
keep getting
Vin Diesel film. Like they should have that on the fucking poster.
Vin Diesel films, I find, are never bad. They're never good. Like, they're never bad in terms of, like, the question of the week that we have this week deals with what I think are bad films. And I don't think I've ever felt that way about like, I've never been
Have
bored.
you seen Triple X 1 and 3?
I've seen one, which I enjoy. Like, I mean, when it came out, I was a kid. I was like, fuck, sweet.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous,
Vinny
but
D.
I'm not bored by it.
Yeah, they tend to have like a somewhat interesting concept at least.
He always takes a very hands-on role in developing them, I'll say.
A lot of sci-fi, which is cool.
Yeah.
And he's in that sort of $30 million budget, so it's kind of run and gun indie filmmaking.
Yeah, to be on topic, I think this movie looks awesome. Like, this trailer was a lot less focused on the premise, which is really interesting, about them kind of manipulating him and reprogramming his brain and memories. But this trailer kind of just focused more on the action and the production. It looks really cool.
Yeah. It certainly does falter in some moments when they're like falling down the elevator shaft or whatever it is, and they're both just these kind of like rubber CGI things. That's a bit disappointing. And I hope that that's just one scene that's a bit iffy or hasn't been touched up.
I hope every scene is him falling down elevator shafts.
But I mean, in
Like
the sense of
the
like, I hope
gelatinous
that because there's a lot of scenes that look pretty cool from a special effects or a CGI.
all of the regeneration stuff I think looks wicked.
Yeah, so I hope that they haven't just like blown their load on a couple of those kind of scenes, and then the rest looks like that elevator scene. I think that'd be really disappointing, and it would kind of take me out of it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think I wonder if we'll see this one. I wonder if we'll review it.
Nope.
Nope.
I'll see it and I'll mention it on one.
Yeah,
what have
yeah.
I been watching?
Yeah, that's it. That's the only way this can go.
Yeah.
All right, let's cap it off with question of the week. This one comes from Ethan K. Thanks for your support, man. We see your comments. Appreciate it, dude. And guys, if you want to have a question read out next week, hit us up We're actually posting on social media this year.
Whoa.
Don't you worry. Facebook,
It's our New Year's
Instagram,
resolution.
YouTube.
So we'll do it for a month.
Hit us up. That's what it's all about. It's just January, right? All right. Question from Ethan. Any of you guys ever walk out of a movie early in the theater? Which ones and why? I remember leaving the first Michael Bay Transformers movie before the third act. I just couldn't do it anymore. There's only been a handful of films that I've walked out
I
of.
think there's only one for me. Yeah. Do you want to go first, George?
Yeah, I've talked about this a bunch of times. Fantastic Beasts
Yeah.
and Where to Find Them. One. Just got so angry in the cinema. I got so fucking angry.
What have they done to my Wizarding World?
As a Harry Potter fan, I just really didn't like the angle they took with this and that little echidna thing.
I think for me, like, I had already watched all the original Harry Potter films, and I was already angry at what they had done to the books. So for me, that was just like, whatever. It's just more indecencies.
As a lover of the books and the movies, like I think they did a good job with the movies. Like they can't pack everything in there.
Here we go. We're getting into this again.
I mean,
This is not the question.
That's no. I mean, if you're saying that the movies
I wanted
did,
every page one for
no.
one.
I don't even
in
mind
the
them
movie.
not keeping stuff in, but like for no apparent good reason, changing characters or like what they decided to keep in as opposed to what they decided to cut out. That's what I have issues with.
George, what else have you walked out of?
Yeah. Let's continue on.
Harry Potter's.
You stayed for the sequel, Fantastic Beasts,
Which was a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to think. Did I watch Fantastic Beasts 1? I've never seen it.
You never went back?
No, I never went back.
Yes, no, we talked about it. You
Or
did.
did we go back?
I
Did we review that?
My recollection is that you went back and
Yeah.
watched it before the sequel.
We did a review of that, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Anyways,
You tell us.
What else have you walked out of?
That's it. I think that's it. Oh,
You've just
Prince
said
of
a few.
Persia. Prince of Persia. The Sands of Time.
Okay.
Gold, good stuff.
See,
We were laughing so hard in that movie.
but see, why
Why'd
would you
you
walk
leave?
out then?
I know. It's one
This
of my
is-
biggest regrets.
This is my thing,
It's
right?
one of my biggest regrets.
If a movie gives me some kind of emotion, like if it's so bad that I can't help but laugh, like one of the worst films I've ever seen is Clash of the Titans. And it is one of the most enjoyable cinema experiences I've ever had because it was so bad. I remember we had a staff screening way back in the day, and it was just awful. And we were all giving this movie everything we had in terms of just like lambasting it, and it was great fun. And I wouldn't have even considered walking out of it. So a movie has to be a certain type of bad
Yes,
for me to
I
even
agree.
think about leaving.
No, that was just poor decision making that time.
Yeah.
I stand by Fantastic Beasts.
So what did you walk out of?
Only one film ever. The International. Clive Owen.
The International.
It is, I mean, it was the most useless, meaningless, boring, confusing film. And not confusing in a sense of like, oh, why did they do that? But just like keeping track of what was going on, the motivations of certain characters, just that it just felt as there was no consequence to it. I was just utterly bored by that film. And it got to a point where I was like, do we actually need to stay here for this? Like, I'm not invested in these characters. I'm not, like, it's not entertaining.
How far through do you reckon you were? Half an hour, an hour?
Probably at least an hour.
Oh, so you're
Hour 20?
halfway through.
Like at least halfway through. Yeah.
Shit.
I can't remember spit. Like it was years ago. It was almost like it'd have to be 10 years ago, if not more. But like, I just remember because we were into the film, like at least halfway through, and I was just like, it just doesn't mean anything to me. And I mean, Transformers, which is I think it was Transformers 3.
Transformers 1 before the third act.
Oh wow. I mean, let's pick the worst of the bunch, which I think is like Transformers 5.
4.
4?
4 for me.
2.
That one is bad, but it is bananas. Like, there's something I can sit there and watch it, and I will be either impressed with the action, or I will be laughing at the bizarre editing choice of Michael Bay. But either way, I'm strapped in. Like I will watch that thing right to the end. So yeah. See, I
hope I never see another Transformers movie in my life. That would be really great. Like
Bumblebee.
I hope I never
Bumblebee.
watch a Transformers
Bumblebee.
movie again, like one that I've already watched. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. So I suffer from severe FOMO, so I could never even conceive of leaving a movie before it's over. I
thought this happened to you once.
No, I've come close. I just can't face the possibility that something worth watching happens after I leave. Like any movie could have like one scene where I was like, that was interesting. I think the closest I ever came was Red Sparrow, the spy.
But
Jennifer
that was
Lawrence
for
one?
completely different reasons.
No, it was because I found it so mind-numbingly pointless and boring that I just
you were
wanted out of
incredibly
there.
hungover.
I was
You
I
were
was
next level
incredibly
hungover.
hungover.
I was hungover, but I don't think you guys realize how many movies I watch when I'm hungover. And normally I can stomach it, but this one I was just like, it was so slow. I was like, something fucking happened. I was like, I never would have actually walked out because I just don't do it. But I just remember thinking like, if I walked out of movies, I would be doing that right now.
That's good. You're a legit guy.
I'm a trooper, man.
Yeah. What have you guys walked out of? What did you think of all the topics of this week's show? Let us know in the comments. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. We love hearing from you guys. Shoot us a message. And a question for next week would be really cool. As Connor mentioned last week, we're looking at doing a few changes with the show and presentation and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. We're still, we want to do it in one fell swoop. So
We should have them ready by 2021.
2022 it is. So you got 24 months to prepare for it. Also just want to say for everyone here, thank you so much. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but thank you so much for tuning in, listening in every week. 2019 was a huge year for us. We got on YouTube properly. And last year we got 250,000 views on the channel, which was really cool. And we also got 23,000 podcast streams as well. So just want to say thank you for everyone listening in. It means so much to us. And really, we want to kind of build the community this year. So we love hearing from you guys. Hit us up. We're figuring out some more ways to interact with you guys and chat. Well, we love talking about movies, streaming, and all that crap. But also, check out our underwater review, which will be up now-ish.
It should be up by now, yeah.
But now it's up.
Yeah.
So go check
There
it
it is.
out.
It'd be bad if they watched that first and then...
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, bad is a strong word. It'll be
could-
mildly amusing, I suppose.
Could derail
at
the
worst.
channel.
It would be fine.
They've lied to me.
So we'll be back next week. See you, Connor.
Bye.
See you, Benny.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.